You said that learning isn't remembering or understanding, but it's to extend our field of view. What's the difference between the three? Because we're our vessels of reception to expand further beyond their limitations, beyond what we can perceive by our vessels of reception. Then, of course, we would see a much broader world, a much more attractive, appealing world, presenting us with different options, possibilities of existence beyond our bodies, beyond time and the different changes we undergo. But because nature is showing us the limitedness of our perception, I'd say, therefore, we're so miserable, on the one hand. On the other hand, as we learn from the wisdom of Kabbalah, it is possible to expand our vessels of reception and to see the world on higher dimensions, broader, greater. We can perceive the world beyond our five senses, not necessarily only through them. And we can connect between us, not by the different devices that we build, but really from heart to heart. And by that, to extend our vessels, our abilities. But this demands an effort. So, if I understand, it's not a matter of content, but of new technologies, new vessels. Yeah, it's not a problem of learning, but it's the problem of the expanding of our vessels of reception. Previously, you said that learning isn't how much a person remembers or how much he understands, but the extent to which he extends his field of perception. So, what's the difference between learning and understanding or perceiving? Understanding, it's a higher degree than learning. Suppose I expand my vessels of reception by some instrument that we've built. Telescopes, microscopes, different instruments that expand the boundaries of our perception. And I start learning. By learning, I absorb, receive lots of information. Then I start arranging them, organizing them, understanding where they from, what for, how are they connected to the general picture of nature. That is understanding. And also understanding includes many things in it. Where does it come from? What is the reason? What for? What does it give a person and how does a person correctly use it? Meaning it's not just learning. Learning is the compilation of information. And understanding, it's understanding the source, the origin of things, the process that we're learning and its result. And if possible, not only towards us, but also towards things which objectively exist outside of us, if possible. Because that also has to do with learning, for us to understand how limited we are, how we perceive everything in our vessels of perception, and what we see, what we observe, what we feel, it's all only inside our senses. And if there were someone with different senses, then of course he would feel himself and his reality as something very different than ours. When a person learns something new, how does that influence him? Again, learning is the compilation of data, information. Afterwards, after the learning, a person needs the understanding. Why? What for? What does it give me? where does it aim me? At which values? How can I use it? Because what was wisdom and understanding given to humans altogether for? What for? In order for a person to know what is his role, what is his essence, what is his purpose in this development. Even if we live 200 years instead of 100 years, it still doesn't solve the problem of our existence, the question about our being, about our purpose. And therefore, what we have to tend for is the meaning of life. In our development as human beings, what's the importance of learning? Suppose throughout life I have to learn different things in order to develop. Why weren't they given to me to begin with? Why is life built such that it necessitates me to learn and I don't get it all built in? Like an animal, you mean? Yeah, suppose. Because man is constantly developing from generation to generation. Whereas the animate degree, animals barely develop. Why? Because for it, it's enough. The degrees of the still vegetative and animate, they're instinctively operated by nature, and they don't need more than they have. And we are forced to learn and study throughout life. We're not only forced to learn and study, but we're forced to inquire, what are we living for? What is the secret of our life? Where did we come from and where are we headed? What is the process we have to go through in order to realize our purpose? And all that is a part of the learning and understanding and the wisdom that a person has to acquire. This is actually his essence, and therefore, that today we're experiencing a crisis in science and wisdom and research, it's in order for us to ask ourselves, what for? What do I need this wisdom for? This life for? What am I supposed to do with it all? Meaning to inquire the essence of life, its meaning. This is actually the science of the next degree that we already have to go into.